We just saw Top 5, and on this show, I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence and trying to decide if this is a movie for you, you can watch that part without getting spoilers. If you've already seen the movie, or just want to hear everything we thought and don't care about having plot spoilers or anything like that, you can watch the discussion part as well and hear everything we thought. So, Top 5 is a movie that I wasn't particularly sure about. The way that the marketing campaign and everything's kind of set it up was, it looked like it would be like a semi-autobiographical story about Chris Rock, and that's kind of what it is. It's sort of like the movie Funny People with Adam Sandler, except in that movie he plays like a version of himself, and it was written and directed by someone else, and in this, Chris Rock's the writer and the director and the star. And the movie sort of has this, there's like a meta commentary in there of, you know, I don't want to be funny anymore, I'm not sure I can be funny anymore, and his character is an alcoholic and he's not sure that he can be funny without being drunk. And so a lot of the movie is sort of, it's more of a drama than it is a comedy, which isn't a bad thing, but I think it's something that you don't necessarily expect. Like, I had a feeling that it was going to be a little bit like that, but not to the degree that it is. I thought there would be a lot funnier scenes in it. I thought there would be some moments where they just kind of let loose and have more fun. And they try to, but it's like, things are so serious when they're serious that the comedy sections don't quite land, if that makes sense. I think it's a movie that if I saw it again and I wasn't stressed out for what was happening to the characters, if I wasn't worried about anybody, then I would probably enjoy it a bit more. I would enjoy the comedy part of it a bit more. But it's something where, you know, when you watch it the first time, you're sort of, you know, you're not sure how things are going to turn out, and so you don't really feel safe laughing at the funnier parts that they put into it. I also thought it was kind of, there's parts of it that are edited really strangely, like they'll go to like a house party and they'll cut to like different people talking about the character, you know, telling stories about him, and intercut with that is like a serious conversation that's going on. So it's like this weird like joke, not joke, joke, not joke, and you're just so it just kind of bends you back and forth a lot. All that being said, there are some funny moments in the movie. It's not, the story's not bad. It's not poorly done. I think he wrote and directed it very well. It's just something that I think you have to know what you're getting into, and I think, unfortunately, that means that a lot of people will stay away from it in the theater and catch it when it comes out on home video, where, you know, they have a little bit more control over how and when they watch it. And I honestly don't think I would have watched it in one sitting if I saw it at home. It's one of those movies that I think I would kind of like tune out after a little while and maybe come back to. It just didn't really grab my attention quite the way I wanted it to. So anyway, that's what I thought. What do you think?
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I sort of in my head thought it was just going to be like kind of a funny Chris Rock, and so I do think it sort of proved its own point.
Yeah.
So I thought it did a really good job with that. I also thought the way it used humor was very realistic for how people who are known as funny use it to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. There were jokes in there, but they were sort of awful jokes in the situation, kind of like you said, like you wanted to laugh, but you were just so worried about the characters that you didn't know what to do. And so I thought it really accurately portrayed humor as a sort of self-protective device, and the way people use that for it. So I thought it was, I thought it was a good, I think I enjoyed that part of it, and I thought it was a good portrayal of yeah, I mean, I guess I like sort of human relationships, and so I thought, for the most part, the relationships and the interactions between people were very realistic and messy as they are. I mean, I think they did a good job there. There was a part sort of halfway through where I thought his fiance wasn't going to be a little bit two-dimensional, and then there was that scene where she kind of says that this is all she has, and you get to see kind of a deeper part of her, and I was like, oh no, they managed to even pull her into the third dimension, and I was impressed with that. So,
yeah. So anyway, that's the quick version of the review. If that sounds like a good movie, go check it out. Don't let us spoil anything for you. We're going to do that in a minute here. Kind of to get more into the details of the plot, I mentioned it was a little bit like Funny People. It's not like Funny People in that it's not about this super famous, almost like loner, like guy alone in his house sort of movie. He's much more approachable, and a lot of the movie is him being interviewed by Rosario Dawson as a journalist. She's doing what he thinks is a interview, but it's really turns out to be that she's trying to get dirt on him, basically, to bash his new movie. And his movie within the movie is like, a parody of someone making a serious movie, like just ridiculously over the top. There's also a scene where he explains to her his rock bottom, and he has 2 prostitutes, and the promoter comes back, and it's really gross, and that whole scene goes on, and they
kind of unnecessarily long.
Well, so here's my thing with that. So I watched that scene, and I was thinking, this is probably what they think is the funniest scene in the movie. This is probably the thing that they think, this is a Chappelle show, or
Maybe.
This is ridiculous levels of, pushing the envelope, going crazy. And the journalist character is laughing at it. She thinks it's funny. It's portrayed as it's supposed to be portrayed as it's a very funny thing that happened, but it was also very bad for him at the time, and it was scary and all that sort of thing. And it's another thing where I wanted to understand why he decided to become sober after that. But instead they chose that moment to be over the top, crazy, funny.
Right.
And so again, it's another thing where if I watched the movie again, I would know to just enjoy that scene, not to try and decipher it or try and find out what it means. Yeah. So I had a lot of issues with that, where I just wasn't quite sure it was hard to tell what the expectation was as an audience. It was hard to tell what we were supposed to laugh at and what we were supposed to take seriously and pay attention to.
And I think that's true. Even with her relationship and sort of the way that all comes out, she obviously needed, they obviously felt like they needed to have a similar story for her that kind of brought her back to where they were, but also had that element of the ridiculous with the hot sauce, and yeah,
and that was another scene. That scene was actually funny. That scene actually got laughs in the theater, but it also wasn't quite as it's just as outrageous, but it wasn't as over the top. It wasn't a 4-minute scene.
It was a
30-second scene. I liked the way that it ended. That it was kind of an uncertain thing, but there was still some hope. There was some optimism there.
Yeah.
I really didn't buy the, hey, let's just stop for a minute. Oh, we're at a comedy club. Oh, you're getting on stage.
Right.
Oh, you're really funny.
Right.
That really felt wrong to me. they just didn't they didn't set that up well enough. They didn't make that work well enough. And he kind of explains it away afterward, and you're like, oh, okay, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that wasn't the vibe that I got
Yeah.
watching it up until that point. But seeing the cameos at the bachelor party was funny. I mean, Tracy Morgan, they show in the trailer. He's like some relative, like when they go back to his house,
cousin or something, yeah.
like that. He's a relative of the characters, and but at the bachelor party, Whoopi Goldberg, Jerry Seinfeld, and Adam Sandler are there as themselves, and they do some funny things with that, particularly with like Jerry Seinfeld being there, like being at a strip club bachelor party, which is just hysterical. Like that's a great moment for him. And yeah, I keep saying this, but I think it's a movie that I'd have to see a second time to really decide whether I like it or not. But I'm not sure that I would. Like, I don't...
Well, I definitely... And that's what I was just thinking. I wouldn't go to the theater to see it again.
Yeah.
And I know that there's movies where you've been like, oh yeah, I'll go again and see that again. I would... Like, it's one of those, if it was on TV and I had nothing better to do, I might watch it again. Or have it running in the background while I was doing something else. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like I missed anything.
Yeah.
I just feel more like I might enjoy it more when I'm not quite as concerned or trying to like actively watch the movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the top 5. If you enjoy the way we do these reviews, please like us, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at DaleMaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.